Hey there, this is Christine. Thanks so much for tuning into my Mostly Keto Kitchen today. So today is going to be part 3 of my micronutrient analysis. So if you looked at parts 1 and 2, then you would have seen that I was looking at the vitamin and mineral content of a variety of foods. And for those 2 videos, I was kind of focused on number of micronutrients per calorie because I was thinking to myself, I don't really want to eat too many calories, so which foods are going to give me the most vitamins and minerals per calorie? But I wanted to switch that up just a little bit and think of it in terms of, what I see on my plate and the amount of food on my plate. So I also did a calculation looking at the number of micronutrients per gram of the food. And I get slightly different results that way, and I think it's interesting. And so I want to tell you a little bit about how I did the analysis. So I put foods into categories. So I've got, different beans and tofu together, and I've got some different fruits in a category, different vegetables in a category, and I've got different categories for colorful vegetables like the red and orange guys versus the green vegetables. And so I've got all these different categories. I took averages of all the different vitamin and mineral contents for them, and then took those averages, and that was really the RDA percentages. And I took that and divided it by either the number of calories in the food or the number of grams in the, per serving. And so that way I could figure out micronutrient per calorie, micronutrient per gram. So hopefully that makes some sense. And then what I did is I ranked them. So I wanted to see what was at the top of the list and what was at the bottom of the list. And I took what was the sort of the top 5 of the, so I wanted to figure out how many times does a particular food appear in the top 5. And so, yes, we've got top of the list, and then I'm going to talk about the ones that I see in the middle, and I'll also talk about what appeared at the bottom of the list, but keep in mind that those are just looking at what appeared in the top 5. I know it sounds confusing, but I will post my Excel spreadsheet. Please take a look at it if you're interested in this kind of detailed analysis, and do let me know if you see a mistake in there somewhere, because it's a lot of numbers for sure. All right, so now this stuff is not, of course, publishable level, but I hope it's kind of a rough way of looking at what's healthy and what's not healthy. So let's look at the data. So the first chunk of data that I have here to show you is the micronutrient per calorie. And so the things that appeared at the top of the list are the things that I've already talked about, and that is green veggies, liver, and then the red and orange veggies, and then mushrooms. And I had also said that seeds were high up there. In this particular calculation, I combined nuts and seeds together, and that actually pulled the nuts and seeds, pulled the seeds down, because I guess nuts don't have as many micronutrients per calorie as seeds do. So anyways, those were the top guys. And then you'll notice in the graph here that we've got tied in the middle eggs, beans, tofu, and avocado. So those guys also pretty healthy. Now, interesting to look at the bottom end of it. You'll see that meat, dairy, and fruit are tied for second to last, and then grains are the last. So I think that's interesting because there's so much out there about those healthy grains. Okay, well, the grains are, all of these foods, remember, are healthy. It's amazing when you look at how many of them have a small amount of all the different vitamins and minerals. So that is why we can survive on one type of diet or another type, and those 2 diets can be so different because lots of foods have lots of different vitamins and minerals in them. But it is interesting to see that the grains are at the bottom of the list there. All right, now let's look at the data for micronutrient per gram. So in this case, we have at the top of the list the nuts and the seeds. So that's where you get your biggest bang for the buck in terms of the weight of the food. Liver is in there, and then also green veggies. And then tied in the middle, we had meat and salmon and beans, tofu, and avocado. So those, again, kind of the similar middle guys to what we had over in the other case with the micronutrients per calorie. So 2 things that I want to bring up out of this. One is liver, and I know I keep harping on this, and it's not like I'm trying to promote liver eating, but maybe I am. I am just surprised at how the data shows us that liver is incredibly healthy. And so if you can find a way to eat some liver, then wow, go for it. So I have a new way. I started making pate, so that was nice, but it takes a little bit of work. But what I found was this awesome liverwurst from US Wellness Meats. And the liverwurst has beef liver in it, beef kidney, and beef heart. And it is surprisingly tasty. Now, I usually eat it on a piece of toast with some butter on it. I don't think I'm really bold enough to jettison the toast, so I'm not being super carb conscious and keto about it. But I love it. It's a great lunch. I'll have the liverwurst on some toast with a salad with a nice vinaigrette. And that's a fabulous lunch for me. So yeah, try to eat a little more liver because I think it's super healthy for us. And then the other thing that is surprising about this is if we think back on what is at the bottom of those lists there, notice that fruit is not appearing high on the micronutrient list for either per calorie or the per gram calculations. And this is important because we are always lumping fruits with vegetables, right? We're always hearing that, oh, eat your fruits and vegetables. Well, we know that the fruit part's kind of the easy part, right? Fruit's tasty, dried fruit, super tasty, super sugary, and we feel good when our kids eat fruit. Well, let's think about it a little bit here. Yeah, there's vitamins and minerals in there, but not a lot. And so if we can teach kids and teach ourselves even to break away from the fruit a little bit, not eat quite so much of it, and focus more on the veggies and the liver and, and eating just a lot of other whole foods, that's going to be a lot healthier for us. So, all right, thank you so much for tuning in, and let me know if you've got any questions about this.